heart is a pump. It's a muscular organ about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your chest. Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body. In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year. Oxygen-poor blood, blue blood, returns to the heart after circulating through your body. The right side of the heart, composed of the right atrium and ventricle, collects and pumps the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. The lungs refresh the blood with a new supply of oxygen, making it turn red. Oxygen-rich blood, red blood, then enters the left side of the heart, composed of the left atrium and ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to the body to supply tissues with oxygen. 4 valves within your heart keep your blood moving the right way. The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary, and aortic valves work like gates on a fence. They open only one way and only when pushed on. Each valve opens and closes once per heartbeat, or about once every second. A beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxing is called diastole. During systole, your ventricles contract, forcing blood into the going to your lungs and body, much like ketchup being forced out of a squeeze bottle. The right ventricle contracts a little bit before the left ventricle does. Your ventricles then relax during diastole and are filled with blood coming from the upper chambers, the left and right atria. Then the cycle starts over again. Your heart is nourished by blood too. Blood vessels called coronary arteries extend over the surface of your heart and branch into smaller capillaries. Here you can see just the network of blood vessels that feed your heart with oxygen-rich blood. Your heart also has electrical wiring, which keeps it beating. Electrical impulses begin high in the right atrium and travel through specialized pathways to the ventricles, delivering the signal to pump. The conduction system keeps your heart beating in a coordinated and normal rhythm, which in turn keeps blood circulating. The continuous exchange of oxygen-rich blood with oxygen-poor blood is what keeps you alive.
heart is a beating muscle that pumps oxygen and nutrient-rich blood throughout the body. Each beat is stimulated by electrical signals that pass through the heart muscle or myocardium. In order to examine the function of the heart, a doctor may perform a test called an electrocardiogram or ECG, also referred to as an EKG. During this test, electrodes are placed on the chest and recordings are then made of the heart's electrical signals. Sometimes the electrodes are also placed on the arms and legs. The electrical signals follow a set pathway through the heart, beginning at a spot called the SA node, which is located in the top right chamber or atrium. The signal then branches out through both the right and left atrium, which contract and push blood into the lower chambers or ventricles. The electrical signal also passes into the ventricles via the AV node and then travels down the tissue that separates these two lower chambers. Finally, the signal travels back up the ventricles, which contract and pump blood to the lungs and body. Variations from the normal electrical pattern may indicate damage to the heart due to a heart attack or heart disease. Often a patient will be required to perform a stress test during an ECG. A stress test usually involves walking or running on a treadmill at progressively increasing intensity while recording an ECG. This test allows the doctor to examine the heart's electrical activity during the stress of exercise.